In London, one can find just about anything their heart desires. With a city booming with many different cultures and communities, there is something here for everybody. The LGBTQ+ community in London is one that in itself has many different subcultures. Arguably, some might say that the LGBTQ community's crowning jewel is the art of drag, and London is no stranger to drag. Y'all right, vibes? Hi, my name is Gustavo Gurgel, and before coming to London, I already knew exactly what I wanted to experience most of all. British drag, honey. Yes, British drag is revered around the world. It's big, it's beautiful, it's magnificent, it's marvelous, it's in your face, it's unapologetic, it's everything. So much so that RuPaul brought his hit Emmy-winning show here to the UK, RuPaul's Drag Race UK. I wanted to get up close and personal with British drag, so I caught up with Carla Bear, an Australian drag queen who moved to London to make a name for herself. And she's become a key player in the drag scene here in London and a prominent figure.
Finally, it is happening to me right in front of my face, and I just cannot shake it, shake it.
What made you get into drag?
I got into drag through doing music theatre. I was a music theatre performer for a long time, and I did a show called Kinky Boots in Australia, and then I also did it over here on the West End and then on the UK tour. And that kind of made me fall in love with the art of drag. And then I did Priscilla, Queen of the Desert as well. And so I found out that I could make a lot more money doing drag than I could being on the West End. Really? So I kind of combined my love of drag, my love of money, and here we are.
That's fantastic. I'm sure you're familiar with RuPaul's Drag Race. How do you think drag has been impacted with the arrival of Drag Race UK?
I think Drag Race UK really fits well into the Drag Race franchise, but also into the UK itself. We found that we were watching the US franchise of Drag Race. And then we added the UK element, and finally we got to see people and characters that were reflected within the UK society. Some people say that the UK drag scene isn't as polished as the American scene, but then we also make up for it with our skill set, with being able to hold an audience for an hour and to chat and be funny and hold the audience in the palm of our hand for such a long period of time, which some American queens can't do. So I think it was really refreshing, and that's why I think the first and second seasons of Drag Race UK were really successful, because finally the UK saw a reflection of what our society actually is.
Right. In your opinion, what role do drag performers play in creating queer spaces?
I think drag queens have a huge role in queer spaces through bridging the gap between the queer audiences, and just I like to think that I'm a drag queen that's relatable to every aspect, every segment of the queer community. Something that's relatable to everyone, whether it be through the songs that I sing or the way that I look, or the jokes that I tell. I just like to think that drag queens are sort of the bridging gap between that ideology of drag queens being untouchable but also being completely personable at the same time.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you sing live.
I do sing live, yeah. In London, it's actually really common for live drag queens to sing live. It's the drag scene in the UK really stemmed from the whole panto dame role, where during the pantomime season there would be a cis, normally straight man who would dress up as a drag queen, and that was their role within the show, and that was the comedy and the laughs. Whereas now we kind of have amalgamated the drag world with the panto dame world, and you'll see in my shows I'm on stage for an hour and I chat to the audience and we tell jokes, and it's more of a cabaret style rather than you know, in Australia or in America as well, it's very much a lip sync heavy scene, and you might only see a show on the hour every hour for 10-15 minutes. Whereas in the UK, it's really common, especially at bars like Admiral Duncan and Halfway to Heaven, the Royal Vauxhall Tavern. They're real cabaret spaces, and they hire a lot of different cabaret acts, really. I wouldn't call myself a drag queen, I'd call myself a cabaret act. They want me to be on stage for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, just chatting to the audience, singing songs, getting the audience to sing along as well. It's very much an all-inclusive environment at a lot of the venues that I perform at.
That's awesome. And my last question for you is, what do you have to say to queer youth that want to make it in the drag business?
My message to queer youth who want to make it in drag is just never lose the fun. I think so many queens are so caught up with how they look and how serious they need to be. Never lose the fun, because at the end of the day, you're going to create more enjoyment for yourself if you see other people enjoying your drag. And if you're smiling and having a great time, then other people will smile and have a great time as well. Just spread the love, and it's really hard work. But also, I'm still I've been doing this now for, I said, nearly 4 years. It's still a process for me as well. I'm evolving and changing and figuring out still exactly what I like and what I don't like, and I think it's just being confident and being true to yourself, but also at the same time just have a really good time, because that's the most important thing.
Yes, a new dawn, it's a new day, a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'll feel better after a couple of vodka started Grand Prix. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.